Welcome to The Longest Turn. This is episode 67, Summer Games. My name is Tyler.
Hello, this is Kevin.
This is Tyson.
In this episode, we're going to just get caught up on some of the games that we've been playing lately. We're going to talk about games that we've been playing lately.
I think
that is how that works.
I think we should talk about some games we've been playing lately.
Yeah, whatever, Kevin.
Yeah, let's do it. Let's do it. We've been playing some good games.
We have.
Yeah.
It's been a busy summer.
Yeah.
Lots of vacations, lots of work, lots of expensive repairs and injuries, and it's been a summer.
Yeah, it's been a summer. I've mountain biked a lot. I won't be doing much more mountain biking in the near future. Well, it's not over. I'm kind of bummed about that.
Unfortunately, you won't be doing any golfing either.
No, I'm out of commission.
I've been playing a ton of golf this summer.
I'm going to have to say no to that. So,
wait, what happened, Kevin?
Yeah, it was Saturday. I went to one of my favorite local trails, had a blast, got to the very end of the trail, and there was this jump that was there. It looked kind of fun, and I ended up having a fight with the ground, and I lost. So separated my shoulder. Going to find out tomorrow if I need surgery or not. So I'm out of commission for just a little bit. But good news is I can sit on my butt and play games still, which is fantastic.
One-handed.
Holding cards is problematic.
Shuffling decks is not happening.
Yeah, I'm not going to be doing any shuffling anytime soon. But you've had an interesting day.
Yeah, I had a garage door spring break last week.
Spring break.
Yeah, expensive. Apparently, our garage door is huge and weighs 500 pounds and requires custom springs that are much larger than everybody else's springs. Okay. So that was costly.
Well, thanks, builder.
Then our Subaru's on the fritz and requiring some expensive non-warranty covered repairs. And I just drove home today and noticed my tire pressure was down a little, and I found a screw in my new car. So
fun.
In the tire. Fun. So yeah, I'm going to Les Schwab in the morning to try and get that taken care of.
Good news is bad things usually happen in threes, right?
Yeah, I think you're 4 or 5. Right
now. No, you're okay. That rule doesn't apply to you then. Yeah, 4 or 5.
No, you stop counting at 3.
Yeah, it's been an expensive couple of weeks.
Yeah, that's no fun. I hate all of those things. I recently had some tire troubles as well, and I was going down I-25 at local freeway and saw my tire pressure light go off, and usually it goes off. You're like, okay, I'm going to go to the next exit and just check it out. Somebody pulled up to the side of me and was pointing at me and pointing at my tire. I'm like, this is more urgent than I thought. So I got off immediately and assessed the situation, and it was pretty bad. So yeah. No fun to deal with that stuff.
I don't think there's ever a situation in which somebody tries to flag you down while you're driving on the freeway. It never ends well.
Yeah, it's like something's wrong.
Especially if they're just messing with you.
Or they're trying to get your number, or they're trying to...
Has that happened to you?
Drive-by shooting. Oh, all the time.
Driving State Street in Utah. Tyson.
Oh, there you go. Yeah.
No Colfax happened here.
Colfax. You don't want... well, okay. Anyway.
Yeah. I bought a new car, and so far I've already had to do a windshield fix, and now a tire issue. And
it's been like a month, something like that?
Yeah.
Yeah.
Yeah, I don't even have I still have temporary tags on it.
I'm not going to throw around the C word for this car. I hope not. Hope it's not cursed.
Oh, yes. Yeah. Hopefully not. I was trying to think of what C word.
There's some bad C words.
That could have gone somewhere bad. I should have said the word just to start off there. So.
Yeah, cursed was a better way to say that.
Cursed.
Yeah. Let's relieve some stress and talk about some board games.
Yeah, let's do it.
You want to go first?
I'm going to go first because I've got a lot of games to talk about today. So first game, GMT Games was nice enough to send us a copy of a game called A Gest of Robin Hood. This is a game in the coin series of games, and I had never played a coin game before. Had either of you guys played?
Nope.
A coin game? So this is a game in the Irregular Conflict series of games. There are I think 2 games in this series. This is the second game in the series. And I think the whole purpose of this is it's a streamlined version of a coin game.
Coin stands for counterinsurgency.
Counterinsurgency, correct. So typically these games are based on historical conflicts. They're very asymmetrical. So each side has its own actions and does its own thing. That's very much how this game, A Gest of Robin Hood, is as well. It's based on the adventures of Robin Hood. So Robin Hood is trying to instill justice upon the land. And then the sheriff, the other player plays the sheriff, and he's trying to make order in the land, right? So the way that a person wins is there's this marker that either shifts towards justice or shifts towards order. If you get to the end of the game and the marker is on your side of the board, either on the justice side or the order side, if it's justice, Robin Hood wins. If it's order, then the sheriff wins. Then there's also a way in the middle of the game is if the marker goes far enough one side to the other, then there can be an instant victory as well. So the way this game plays is a certain number of henchmen are placed out onto the board, and then a certain number of merrymen are placed on the board. There's Nottingham, and then there's a few forest spaces, and there's a bunch of parishes that are around Nottingham. All of these are connected by roads, and some of them can be divided by a river, so they're not considered adjacent. So once all these are on the board, then the game will start. There is an event deck, and to start the round, an event card is turned over. Now, this event deck is stacked, so it's split into 3, and they call them ballads, 3 different ballads. There are a number of event cards, and then once you get through all of those event cards, there is a royal inspection. Then you go through that process again for the second round, or the second ballad, another royal inspection, and then you go through the third ballad, and as long as nobody has won, King Richard comes back, and then you determine a winner. That's the general structure of the game. So Robin Hood already starts. There's an initiative. Robin Hood always starts. There's an initiative track, and Robin Hood has initiative at the start of each ballad. That means Robin Hood gets first choice. There are 3 options on your turn. You can select a plot, a single plot. You can select the event that was revealed, or you can do what's called plots and deeds. So you take your marker and you place it on one of those options. Robin Hood has a number of plots that he can do. He can recruit, get additional merrymen out onto the board. He can rob, so he can rob travelers. He can rob carriages that the sheriff puts out, or he can go to the treasury in Nottingham and actually rob the treasury. Okay. He can also sneak. So there's a concept in the game where you place a merryman out on the board. That merryman is hidden. It's this little token you put out. If it's face down, it's hidden. They can become unhidden. You turn it the other way. Sneaking allows you to go to an adjacent area and become hidden. The sheriff has plots. He can hire, get more henchmen out. He can patrol, trying to find the merrymen and turn them over so that they're not hiding. And he can capture. He can put the merrymen into prison. There is the event. So if you select the event, you read it. There is an event that is good for Robin Hood and bad, and there's an event that's good for the sheriff. So some of these events can be very powerful. So going there allows you the choice of one of those options for the event. And then plots and deeds. Plots and deeds allows you to do more plots, and then it allows you to do a deed. And deeds are just more powerful actions that either Robin Hood or the sheriff can do. Example of some of the deeds. Donate will allow Robin Hood to incite revolt by distributing stolen goods in submissive parishes. Each parish is either submissive to the sheriff or is revolting and is on the side of Robin Hood. So Robin Hood's trying to get all of these parishes revolting. The sheriff's trying to flip them to submissive. There's a swashbuckle. There's inspire. There's various things that Robin Hood could do to advance his agenda and get everything towards justice. The sheriff can ride. He can move henchmen around the board quickly. He can confiscate, steal goods from submissive parishes and place carriages out on the board. He's trying to get carriages. He takes money from these parishes, turns them to revolting because they're mad at him, and then these carriages make their way to Nottingham so that the sheriff can get points and money. But they can be robbed by Robin Hood. So you're taking these actions. Robin Hood will take an action and the sheriff will take an action. And then the next round, another event gets flipped over, and then initiative is reset. Whoever is furthest to the left gets initiative first, and you keep on playing rounds until there's a royal inspection. Royal inspection, you'll get either Robin Hood or the sheriff will get points and drag that marker either towards the sheriff's side or Robin Hood's side, and then you start the next round. It's to start the next ballot. You play until all the cards in the event deck are done, or somebody wins in the middle of the game because the marker is far enough to their side. And then King Richard comes back, and you determine a winner. So that's kind of a rundown of the game. There's quite a bit going on in this one, but I thought it was awesome. I absolutely love the game. What did you guys think of it?
This game is incredibly thematic. I think and there's so much going on, like mechanically. Everything you just described. When I first was exposed to it, I was like, "Oh, this is going to be pretty dry." Like, it doesn't seem like there's a lot of things going on that I can do, and they look like they're designed just for mechanical parts of it. But every single thing that I did in the game, I could see the story of Robin Hood unfolding. Right, like. You mentioned the sheriff. When I played with you, Kevin, I took on the sheriff role, and I thought it was so interesting that you could take these carriages, right? And you have 3 different types of carriages, and sometimes you want to put out different items. Like, you want carriages to get back to Nottingham as the sheriff, because that's how you earn money and potential points, and you're trying to do that as much as possible. So if you can get out a lot of carriages, you can potentially get a lot of things, but that also gives Robin Hood a lot of opportunity to try and rob the carriages. But in the carriages, I can decide what is going to be going in those carriages. So sometimes I can also have I have 2 tokens of the 6 that have guards in the carriages, essentially.
It's a trap.
It's a trap.
So I could, yeah, exactly, set up a trap where they all pop out when you try and rob them, and you get them, right? Like, and that was so thematic to me.
Yeah,
because you're trying to be like, don't smile, don't play it cool, don't let Kevin know that I've got guards in this carriage. He thinks that that's full of points because I put it right in this location.
Yep, exactly.
And it's gonna get me points, but I really want him to rob me. Go ahead.
And I love the fact, so you have to rob as Robin Hood with hidden merrymen, right? So like in my head, I'm thinking, okay, they're in the forest or something and they're ambushing, right? And then you reveal them and they're the ones that can rob, right? And then you've got potentially hidden henchmen inside the carriage, So yeah, it's very cinematic. I mean, the mechanics are very tied to the theme, and I think it's just awesome. Yeah. I love that.
Well, even you fill up those carriages from money from the parishes, and then the allegiance of that region turns against you.
Yeah,
Yes.
right. It becomes
awesome.
Revolting. Yeah.
Because you just took all their points, all of their money, right?
Yeah.
Yep. Yeah.
I played the Sheriff of Nottingham too, and I maybe didn't play it as thematically as I should have. I don't think I put a carriage on the board until we were almost done with the second ballot.
You didn't, but then you build up this convoy back to Nottingham, which was awesome, and that was super thematic. I love that. Yeah,
this game is fantastic. For a 2-player game, it is fantastic. It is so much fun to go back and forth, trying to find Robin Hood, trying to catch Robin Hood, trying to, destroy camps in the forest, right? And anywhere that the Robin Hood player has set them up. There's just so much tug of war. And the part that really sells it for me is the round cards that come out.
The event cards.
The event cards that get flipped over.
Completely agree.
And there are times where you can really benefit from those. And there are times where they don't really apply to you, and they're not really part of the decision of, do I take the event card action or do I take the other actions, right? But it when they are valuable to you or to the other player, changes what you thought for sure you were going to do, and makes you at least reconsider. And
yeah, it becomes very tactical at that point, right? Because you could completely change what you wanted to do, and it's like you said, it could be good for you or it could be good for your opponent. And it could be so good for your opponent that you may want to take that event just to block them from having
and just to get a couple coins.
Just to get a couple of coins.
Yeah,
right?
you're not even going to use the event action.
Yes. Yeah. And it makes the decision the round before impactful as well, because you want to be in a position to be able to have first choice of that event in case it's good. You don't know what it's going to be, but in case it's good, maybe you go for plots instead of plots and deeds. So you have that choice in the next round, which is a super cool, interesting decision.
I loved that part of the game. If there was rounds where it was like, I really only want to do one action, I don't need to do plots and deeds. Kevin picked the event. I'm going to do plot. Then I do my one action. And then I get to pick first next round. Yeah. And that is awesome.
You secure your position.
Yeah, and I know I can sequence these two actions back to back that will...
I love that.
...will benefit me in a huge way.
Or if you can do an event and then a plots and deeds back to back, or even a plots and a plots and deeds back to back. Yeah, you're having this super, it's essentially one super turn.
Super turn,
yeah,
absolutely.
Which is awesome and it feels good.
Yeah.
It doesn't feel good for the other person.
Which makes
potentially, right? but it's awesome. I love it.
It makes every decision you make in this game feel like it's a hard decision to make. Like there are multiple good options to take here. And there's the potential that if you choose wrong, that it could be dreadful for you because maybe that event comes out and it's just terrible. And so I have such a love-hate relationship with those event cards. Not because they're bad, but because like it hurts me to be like, I have to take this event so that Kevin or Tyler cannot take the event, because if they do, they will ruin me, but I don't want to take it. And I think that that's such this risk reward kind of rating that you're doing in your head of how much can I afford to not do that action or to do that action. And it's so good.
Yeah. I love the robbing too. The robbing can be frustrating, but it also can be very lucrative for the Robin Hood player.
I felt bad in that first ballad.
I tried to rob 3 times in a row and was unsuccessful, and it was like, kind of a kick in the gut. Then an event came up that gave me +1 for my robbing, and I was very successful.
And you had tons of money the rest of the game.
And I had tons of money the rest of the game. So it's like, okay, that I kind of redeemed myself there, but it was a little frustrating at first. In our game, when we played, I think I robbed a traveler called the Potter.
Oh, the Popper.
Was it the Popper or something?
I think it was, maybe it was the Potter. Yeah.
Yeah, but I think that one was, I ended up getting justice moved towards my side. And then I went for the riskier option, and I ended up stealing money from the sheriff, which was your only money left or something like that, and gave me the 2 money that I needed to do my next action. Like the sequence of events there was just
which also
crazy.
Caused me to have not like you took away the money that would have allowed me to be able to counter it by doing a specific action that I could have done to have secured potential points, but by taking away my money, I couldn't do it anymore, and it was the linchpin in that game, right? Like you took the victory in that one move, and it was right at the end of the game, which was perfect for it, but it was really good.
But it's one of those things where it's cinematic. You can play it out in your mind, like what actually happened, right? Yeah. And this is one of those games where you can look back to certain moments in the game, and those were the turning points type of thing. I think that happens all the time, which, games like that are cool. It didn't work out for Robin Hood so well when we played, Tyler, but it was still awesome seeing how the game played out, right?
Yeah.
And how you got those carriages to Nottingham at the end, and the second guessing of, is there a trap in there? I'm pretty sure there wasn't because you had such a convoy, but it was still cool, right?
Yeah,
it was a lot of fun.
It was really cool.
I kept thinking, like, as we were playing, I could see scenes from Robin Hood, Prince of Thieves with Kevin Costner and Alan Rickman in it, like, and seeing like scenes kind of unfold, clearing out Sherwood Forest, having the archery contest. There was all of these things that unfolded in our game that was just so perfect, and I couldn't help but hear. I'm gonna cut his heart out with a spoon. Yeah. Why a spoon, cousin? Because it'll hurt more, you twit.
Yeah, right.
Why a spoon, cousin? Why not an axe?
Because it's dull, you twit. It'll hurt more.
Yeah, I kept picturing that movie and the animated Disney one with Robin Hood as a fox, and It's awesome. It's a great game. It's very thematic. I will say, in the first play, it's like, okay, how does this plot play again?
Oh.
How does this deed play again?
Yes.
And it was constant checking of, am I playing this one right?
And there's some goofy wording on those that
There is.
make
Yes.
it really hard to understand exactly how it's going. That it is this back and forth of checking the rule book, making sure that you understand what you're doing is what you're doing.
Yeah.
It took Kevin and I a while to realize that plots and deeds doesn't mean you can. It didn't take too long, but it took us a minute to realize that plots and deeds doesn't mean you can do multiple different plots, but rather you can do multiple plots of the same one.
And if you're doing single plot, it just means you're doing one of those plots. You know?
Yes.
So the wording was a little bit weird. And even some of the event cards were kind of strange. They were inconsistent from the sheriff's option to Robin Hood's option, right? I don't know. Tyler and I looked up the cards and we're like, oh, that's kind of strange. But, you know, very minor quibbles, you know.
I will say one other thing that I didn't love about this game, and it's a production thing. Give me a card that shows the other players' plots and deeds, please.
Yes.
Yeah,
Because I can
completely
have
agree.
the rules in front of me and I can look them up, but if I could have them right next to my plots and deeds on a little card next to my player board, that would save a lot of time of trying to figure out what are my opponent's capabilities.
Because that's important stuff to know,
Yes,
right? You have
totally
to
agree.
know that in order to play well.
I bet you there is something on BGG that somebody's created because that seems so essential to me that
Yeah.
So next time we play, I will check BGG to see if there's something out there because you need that. Because only one person can have the rules in front of them, but still, it's not a succinct summary of what that other player can do. Right. So
I was sad that last week Kevin texted me at the very start of the week and he goes, hey, you want to get a game or two of Gest of Robin Hood in? And I was like, yeah, I think I can get maybe 1 or 2 games in this week. That would be great. And then I wasn't able to do it because my wife got sick with COVID. And so I was like, all right, we're going to just play it safe and not do anything. And I was really sad. But I was glad that, Tyler, you ended up getting a play of it in because, to me, this is the 2-player game that if there's only a night where we have a 2-player, that and Voidfall, I want to be playing this game as the game that we're playing. Because,
or Anachrony with
ooh yeah,
Or Undaunted,
Blinky.
Tyson.
Or-
It would be your Undaunted
Undaunted.
opportunity.
Well, yeah, I agree. I would probably rather play this one at the moment, but
Yeah.
probably the newness factor for that. But
yeah,
Until Callisto comes out.
I do want to play
that's
that for
coming
sure.
quick.
But this is a good this is a great 2-player game.
It is. It is.
And,
Absolutely
fantastic.
fantastic.
I found myself thinking about this game well after we played it and was excited for more opportunities to play this game.
I don't know that I want to go heavier coin game for a while.
I agree with
This is
that.
my level of difficulty,
Complexity,
complexity that I want to experience in a coin game, at least for the foreseeable future.
But I think there are some other coin games in the series that are similar weight to this that I'd be interested in trying, especially since they have 4-player factor in in those games.
Cuba Libre, I
is
think.
the one that comes to mind.
But
again-
then you're trying to get root to the table. Everybody has different actions and abilities, and you
That
have to know-
asymmetry is a factor for sure.
Yeah.
So, but there's another one in the irregular conflict series. Let's see, Vijay Nagara,
Yes.
something. Yes,
Yeah.
whatever. Right. I
yeah,
would
something
be
like
interested in. I mean, the theme isn't as exciting as Robin Hood, but I would be excited to play that one because it's probably a similar weight to what this one is.
Yeah.
Right. So I would agree with you though. I don't know if I would want to venture too far into the coin series of games. Right.
I think it's
don't
cool that they're based on historical events most of the time.
Yeah.
But I kind of want to see more IP coin games.
More
I kinda do as
mythology
well.
based ones like
Yeah,
this.
or-
Yeah.
King Arthur kind of one.
Or yeah, I mean Dune, Star Wars,
Oh, yeah.
Lord of the Rings. I mean, you could do some cool stuff with different IPs.
You could. Yeah, absolutely. Yeah, like Lord of the Rings, the struggle, to get the ring to Mount Doom. I don't
Yeah.
know.
If it's
Something.
GMT making it, I have a hard time seeing them acquiring the license for Lord of the
Hey,
Rings.
you can always wish,
I think I like the folklore factor for them too, though. I think that's history adjacent enough that it falls into their product line pretty well.
Yeah, that's true.
The what one?
Folklore.
Oh, I thought you said full floor, and I was like, what? I was confused.
I could see how
folklore.
I can see how you're confused.
It's the F word. That one's the F word.
Oh, the F word.
The C word and the F word so far. All right.
Oh no, this is going to become a thing, isn't it? Anyway, so that's A Gest of Robin Hood by GMT Games. Go check it out. We obviously are big fans.
All right, cool. So I'm going to talk about a game that I played with Logan, and this is a game that I backed. It's called Sea Dragons, and it's designed by Yanev Kahana, Simone Luciani, heard of him before, and Pini Schechter. And the artist is Weberson Santiago, who's done things like Sail and The Bloody Inn, a very noticeable style that I really enjoy. Sea Dragons is a 2 to 5 player game. It's tactical. It's a tile laying game, but instead of putting down cardboard, you're placing sea dragon components. The number of rounds and the number of sea dragons that each player has depends on the player count. The board has 4 quadrants. They're variable. They have things like reefs and pirate ships and gold and whirlpools and sea currents on them. And you can set them up in any number of different ways, which is cool. And then there's a central island in the middle, and you're playing these sea dragons to protect against pirate ships, I think, or something like that. But it's really an abstract game. So on your turn, you are going to play one of your 2 pattern cards. And that pattern, the pattern that's on that card will determine the layout of how you play your next sea dragon. So you have sea dragon heads and then a bunch of body segments that are basically just arches that sit on top of the water. And so it looks like your sea dragon is half under the water with his head sticking out. But you can flip or orient the pattern in any way that's on the card, and that's how you place your sea dragon out there. You have to play either adjacent to the central island or other players' sea dragons. You cannot play adjacent to your own sea dragons. So you have to have some separation there. So there's lots of tactical placement going on where you're all playing on the same board. There's no, individual player board that you're playing on. You're all playing on the central playing board. Some things cost more for the dragon if you have to play on like the sea current or the whirlpool. It costs more, but then you might also get gold from those spots that you cover up. If you build out to pirate ships, you can collect those tokens, and those go towards potentially completing a mission. There's also the reef spaces where they will give you a card that gives you some sort of special reward. So basically, you're playing a pattern card. After you play your card, then if you have enough pirate ships, you can cash in on one of the currently available mission cards, which will give you rewards and victory points. And then you'll draw a new pattern card to replace the one that you just played. However, there are 3 different sizes of pattern cards. They're small, medium, and large. So if I just played a large card, meaning it had more sea dragon body segments on it, I have to now draw from the face-up cards of the small or medium pile. And if I just played a medium card, then I have to draw from either the large pile or the small pile. So you can't draw from the same pile that you just played your card from. So some interesting things going on. You're kind of going back and forth with your opponents. I've only played it at 2-player, like I said, but it was a lot of fun. It plays pretty quick, 35, 40, 45 minutes. The game ends when everybody has played all their sea dragons. At the end of the game, you get victory points for remaining gold, remaining ships, remaining coral reef cards, victory points for completing missions. Whoever has the most missions gets 5 victory points, and then you're going to score each sea realm or each quadrant, and whoever has the majority in each realm will score victory points for those. And something that's cool about the currents separate the quadrants, and they're expensive to play your dragons there. But when you play your sea dragons there, they count towards both of the quadrants that they connect to. So I had a lot of fun with this one. It's a good family weight game. It plays pretty quick, and I am excited to get some more plays of this. I would like to try it at higher player counts. It's a fun family weight game. 2.07 out of 5 complexity on BGG.
So about where Barrage is, another Luciani. Right?
Yes, right.
It's a
or
similar,
Rats of Wistar.
similar weight, Darwin's Journey.
Yeah. No, I was drawn to it by Simone Luciani's name. It was previewed at Gen Con last year.
Essen, yeah.
And maybe it was Essen. But I was interested in it back then, and I was not disappointed with it. It was fairly affordable as far as Kickstarters go. I think it was more of a, hey, we're releasing this now via Kickstarter, and you can get it in the States when it fulfills, or you can wait a year or two before it actually is going to come out commercially.
When we did that preview list, this one was up on my preview list as well for the same reasons, right? Simone Luciani, the artist is Weberson Santiago, right? And he also does, you mentioned some of his artwork. I also really like his artwork in World Championship Russian Roulette, which I think he's a phenomenal artist. But also, I think that the table presence on this one just stands out, right? If you were to walk past this one and see all the dragon parts going in and out of the water, and the head at the end and the tail, right?
Yeah.
It kind of draws you in.
Yeah, it begs the question of what is this game, right? I want to know more, and I think that's cool about it. I'm interested in trying this one out for sure. Especially, it sounds like at maybe the higher player counts, because if it goes up to 5 players, I'd be really curious to see how kind of crazy that kind of board gets, and it would be fun.
I think it would be a lot of fun. It reminds me a little bit. The sea dragon heads remind me a little bit of the serpents from Survive. And I always am looking for reasons to bring up Survive for some reason. But I think a fun double-header game night would be playing Survive and Sea Dragons. I think that'd be awesome.
There you go. Yeah. Sounds good.
Game night.
Yeah.
Sea Dragon games.
I need to check this one out. Another one that I think my family would enjoy.
Yeah, I think
it's
would.
a good family weight game.
Yeah,
And,
absolutely.
Looks good.
So that is Sea Dragons.
I like it.
So this Sea Dragons is a game that was on our preview list for either Gen Con or Essen. The one I want to talk about next is also a game that we had on that list, or at least I did, called SpellBook. SpellBook is designed by Phil Walker Harding, who you may know from his games such as Sushi Go or Baron Park or Emotep, but my personal favorite being Silver and Gold. And then you've also got it published by Space Cowboys. So essentially what this game is in SpellBook, each player is going to be kind of a magician, spellcaster, and they have a grimoire of spells that they can cast. They also have a familiar that they're trying to feed. And the way that the game ends is either you've learned all the spells or one of each of the spells in your grimoire, or you have fed your familiar and that's so large that it triggers the end game. So essentially what you're doing in the game is each round is broken up into multiple phases. You've got a morning phase, a midday, an evening, and a night phase. And each of those phases, you can do certain things. Some of the spells during those phases are going to be able to be activated if you have them unlocked during those types of times, and only at those times. But each morning, what you can do is you're going to collect materia, spell creating power, right? Everybody has a tableau of materia that is available, a pool that they can access. On each of the materia, there's a different symbol. I think there's 3 or 4 different symbols that you can have, which may contribute to different spell varieties and things like that. But beyond that, they're assigned a color. And each of those colors correspond with a specific spell in your grimoire. You're trying to collect enough of one color so that you can unlock the spell. And each spell can do different things. Some allow you to draw more materia so that you can do more things. Some allow you to move things around in the board. Some allow you to feed your familiar. Some allow you to activate specific abilities when a certain symbol is there, or allow you to use the abilities of another player's spell or something like that. There's a lot of variety of here. I believe BGG touts that there are 2,100 different spell combination varieties in there that you can use in the game, based off of how they can all interact with one another. And so as you're going through the game, you're going to grab materia, assign it to your board, and then choose how to do it. Each spell that you're going to unlock is also going to have a specific amount of victory points associated with it, and every spell has 3 levels to it. Not everyone, but most of them have 3 levels to the spells, and you can only typically unlock one of those levels per spell. So once one level is unlocked on all of the spells in your grimoire, the game ends. There's a lot going on here in terms of what spells do and how they can do it. But from the base standpoint of this game, it's pretty straightforward. You just take your turn. You can choose to feed your familiar. You can choose to unlock spells and activate spells, and you're going through. It reminds me a little bit in a lesser way of something like Res Arcana, in which you're trying to make these engines and combinations that'll pull off different things. It's not Res Arcana for sure, and it doesn't necessarily do it in the same way, but it is giving me some of those vibes. It is not as complex as I would have expected it to be, based off of the whole 2,100 spell varieties and things like that. But I've been playing this on BGA lately and had a lot of fun with it. It's very simple. It's not like an overly complex game by any means, but I'm enjoying it.
I'm glad for the rules overview there. We've got a game going on Board Game Arena. I mean, it is really moving along. It's been my turn for about a week, and I just haven't had a chance to read the rules. So now I'm ready to jump in and take my turns and get it going.
I've taken one turn. I read the rules a week ago. I need a refresh, so this was good for me as well.
You forgot all the rules by this point.
Not placing blame on it.
No, not at all. No. But now I'm ready. I'm ready to go.
All right.
Let's get this one going.
Yeah.
It does look fun.
It is cool that it's on Board Game Arena. Do you own this game?
I don't. I was actually at a game store earlier today and saw that there was a copy of this available at the store. I picked it up and I looked at it and it said $45 on it. And I said, I'm not buying this one for $45.
$45.
Okay. Where did you go?
It's Your Move in the mall.
Okay.
Which is...
I've never bought a game there.
Very overpriced there.
Yeah.
But it's a fun game, but it like Silver and Gold and Sushi Go and some of Phil Walker Harding's other designs, it's not the most complex game out there, and so it's not like that price point doesn't match the experience I would get out of it. So
yeah, I get that. Well, it sounds fun, and I'm excited to take my turn.
Yeah, I'm excited for you to do that too.
Looking forward to it.
Yeah.
All right.
That's SpellBook.
What's next?
So this is what's next. What am I talking about? Potion Explosion. Yeah.
Yeah.
So,
also on Board Game Arena.
Also on Board Game Arena. So we got an expansion sent to us from Horrible Guild. It is Potion Explosion, Tonic of Glacial Preservation. This is just a very small expansion that adds one additional potion to the game. So Potion Explosion has been around for a while. 2015 is when Potion Explosion came out. So 9 years. So the way this game plays is you are brewing potions. And the main kind of mechanic around the game is based on this dispenser. You roll marbles into the dispenser and they all roll down into one of 5 columns. And what you're doing on your turn is you're taking an ingredient, one of the marbles out of the dispenser, and you're trying to create explosions and then create potions. The way you create an explosion is you take a marble out, and if 2 marbles hit each other that have the same color, they explode. You take all of those ingredients, then more marbles may hit together. If they're the same color, you're going to take those ingredients. So there could be multiple reactions each time you take out a marble. You take all of those ingredients. You have 2 potions on Bunsen burners. You put all of the colors that match the ingredients on your potions. You put the marbles on them, and you're trying to complete all of the empty spots on your potions. As soon as you do that, you take all the ingredients off. You put them back in the dispenser. The potions go down below you, and now they're a potion that you can use during the game. And each potion has a special ability. That's the main mechanic of the game. The Tonic of Glacial Preservation, what this potion does is it allows you to freeze some of your ingredients, which is really cool because some of the potions in the game allow you to steal ingredients from other players. This freezes them, makes it so they cannot be stolen, which is kind of cool. And then also, normally you have to place ingredients in open available spots on your potions. This allows you to not do that for strategic reasons. It allows you to freeze them for use later. Cool. We really enjoyed it. We really liked the expansion. More variety for this game, more potions is always a good thing. So I think this expansion is a good thing. So have you guys played Potion Explosion?
I've never played on the table. I've only played on Board Game Arena, and I really enjoyed that, but I missed out on all the marble action.
Yeah, you kind of want the marble action, I think. I think this is a game that benefits from the tactile nature of the game, right? Actually physically picking up the marbles, seeing them hit together is just a fun tactile experience. Not saying that BGA is a bad experience at all, but I think it's just better on the table. I have the first edition of Potion Explosion, which has this kind of janky dispenser that's cardboard. Second edition made it plastic. So I have Potion Explosion Envy for Matt, my brother-in-law, because he has the second edition. I may have to upgrade because I think it's a fun game that everybody.
Plus,
that
your box is a little
with.
dinged up at this point.
Yeah, it's an Amazon special. Got the dinged up version. You never know what you're going to get from Amazon.
Yeah.
So,
you shipped my $50 game in an envelope. Thank you.
Yes, exactly. And I think that was probably the case for this one.
I've never played Potion Explosion, but this 2015 was probably 2014, but 2015 was one of the years where I had started really acquiring games and buying them. And I remember Potion Explosion coming out and thinking, I have to have that. And I don't know why I never ended up getting a copy of it. And I've always been curious to play the physical copy. I know it's on BGA, but it doesn't feel like it provides the same experience.
Santa didn't come through for you.
No.
Yeah, there's always
that year I got
next year.
Anachrony, so yes, Santa did come through for me.
I'll have to say Anachrony is a better game, so you win.
Yeah,
that's good.
I thought so too.
One other thing to add that I just remembered: we played with 5 players, so Potion Explosion is normally a 4-player game. When you play with 5 players, you have 2 dispensers that you play with, which I did not like at all. So one is available when one fills up. I think it's 3 columns fill up, then you switch over to the other one. And you're constantly switching in between the two. I don't know. It was an interesting solution to getting to 5 players or 6 players, I think.
So do you have to have 2 copies of the game to do that?
So the expansion includes another dispenser with more marbles, and it includes a different colored marble. It's kind of a wild. Yeah, I don't like it. I would probably pass on that. I just didn't like how switching between the two, because you could make your plans for one and then something completely out of your control would cause it to shift to the other one. And then you're like, oh, what am I doing over here now? Kind of thing. It was just kind of strange to me. I didn't like it, but not saying that other people wouldn't like it. It just wasn't for me.
But at a lower player count, you liked the expansion.
Absolutely. The expansion, even with 5 players, was fun. I liked that potion, and I'd probably include that in most games that I play. But I just didn't like the 5th player or 5 or 6 player expansion. I think it plays up to 6 with that additional dispenser. So stick with 4, I would say.
Okay.
But that is Potion Explosion with the the Tonic of Glacial Preserve expansion.
So I'm going to talk about a trick-taking game that was sent to us by Bezier Games. They have done some new trick takers this year. We've got Sandbag and Xylotar, and we've talked about both of those. Xylotar is fantastic.
Loved it.
This is Seers Catalog, Seers.
In the world of werewolf, right?
Yeah, I think if you took like a traditional Sears, like the store catalog, and threw in all the Bezier nods to, the werewolves and all the silver stuff, and it's this mashup that is a play on the Sears catalog, right?
Nice.
So it does a good job of incorporating different items and characters and things from other Bezier games. So this is a trick taker designed by Taylor Reiner. And the artists are Rob Lukotka and Christine Mitzuk. And this game's awesome.
Yeah.
It's not fun to teach, though.
No.
It's got a little bit of a curve there to teach. So it does some very interesting things. So in this game, you play, whoever's leading the trick will play either a single card, a match or set of the same card number, or a run of suited cards. And whatever they play, whether they play a single card, a pair, or three of the same number, or a run, it's called a meld, okay? And then everybody else in turn order can either pass or play the same type with the same number of cards
With a higher level.
with a higher level or
Value.
higher value. So if I play a single card and it's a 5, somebody can play a 6, somebody can play a 7. If they don't have higher than a 7, then they have to pass. Or they could voluntarily pass, okay?
There is a bit of a hierarchy here that like makes it hard at first blush to be like, okay, what can I play here?
Yeah. And so run cards. So if you had a run of 2, 3, 4, the next player to be able to play has to play a run of 3 cards in the same suit, and the highest card has to be higher than the 4. Once you pass in each trick, you're out for that trick. You cannot come back in and play later. And whoever is the last person to play wins the trick and gets to start the next trick. At a certain point, you get to 5 or fewer cards, and you have a little token that says 6+ cards. You have to flip it over. You may not pass voluntarily going forward. So if you could play something, you have to play it. But you're also in this bonus zone where if the round ends, you're going to score points equal to your lowest value card, whereas normally all your cards just count a negative point against you.
So if you end the round with 10 cards in your hand, you just have negative 10 points at the end of the round.
Yeah. So this is like US Open golf. You break even, you're doing well, right? So the round ends when somebody goes out of all their cards, and they're going to score a 0 because they don't have any cards left in their hand that are counting against them. But you don't want to go out because you want to go. You want to have 3 cards left in your hand, and your lowest value one be 7, so that you can score 7 points for that, minus 3 the number of cards that you have. Right.
13 is the highest value card, right?
Yeah.
And if you could somehow manage to have a 13 as your lowest value in your hand, and you have 1 card left in your hand, you just scored 12 points, which is like amazing accomplishment. Because you're playing throughout the round, trying to ensure that like I'm winning tricks and
getting rid of cards.
Getting rid of all of my cards.
Bonus. Oh crap! I'm stuck winning all these tricks, and now
I made it too early into the bonus. I shouldn't have done that.
Yeah, or I'm going to be forced to go out first, and then I'm not going to score anything. So there's something we haven't talked about though. Every player starts out the round.
But wait, there's more.
Yeah. Every player starts out the round with a wild card, which can be any number, any suit. And every player starts out with 2 artifact cards. And artifact cards make it
break this game
in a good way.
Yeah, absolutely. It breaks rules of this game.
Yeah. So that they're modifiers on the cards that you're playing. So you might add +1 or -1 to the value of a card. You can play one that like lets you reset what trick type is being played. There's change the suit.
Oh, give the lead one, right? Where you can force somebody to take the lead at a strategic point in time.
Yeah, you can play one that even though you're going to lose the trick, maybe you still get to start the next trick. You can play one that gives you 5 points. The artifacts are played at specific points in time, given certain circumstances. And so it's a little confusing and overwhelming trying to wrap your brain around, when can I play this? And is this an extra card? Or how does this count towards is this a 4th card in my run of 3? Or is it just modify some of them only with other cards? Some of them you can only play by themselves. So there's a learning curve there with those cards. But I will say, once you start playing and getting used to it, it's a fantastic game. And it's played over 4 rounds. Whoever has the most points at the end of the 4 rounds wins. But that teaching curve,
at least the first 2 rounds, it feels like you need a flow chart to be like, okay, if this lead card was a single card, here are my options. Oh, but if it was the lead card a run, then do this. If it was it was so hard at first to kind of wrap your head around it, because it is trick taking, but it's not traditional trick taking.
Yeah, it's
and trick taking rules that are normally there are not are overwritten in some way, so it's not naturally intuitive. So it felt like I need a flowchart to be able to understand how to do this. And then you throw in these special cards, right, that break the rules of the game, and it's like, oh well, now what happens? Everybody's got to read the rule to figure out how that happens. And it was just so difficult for that first game, or for the first couple rounds, to understand it. But the payoff was amazing towards the end.
Yeah, by the end of the game, it was like, this game is awesome.
I almost don't want to play this game with people who don't already know this game, or haven't invested in trying to learn this game to some extent beforehand.
Or at least I need to spend more time trying to figure out the best way to teach it.
That's fair.
Yeah, because it does sound tricky.
Yeah. See what you did there.
Okay, right. Okay.
Just pulling the puns out of the catalog.
I'm playing Tyler's role for this episode. There we go.
So, yeah, I love this game. I love Xylotar. That was great. This one's fantastic. Like I said, it's review copy sent to us. But if you can get over that initial learning curve, this does some really fun things as a trick-taking game, because you're trying to get rid of your cards up to a point.
Yep.
And then you want someone else to go out first before you go out.
Yeah, I love trick-taking games. I haven't played this yet. Sounds amazing. But I love trick-taking games that I mean, if it's going to be a new trick-taking game, it has to do something unique, right? Yeah. And it sounds like this one is right up that alley. Would you say you like this one more than Xylotar? Or
I think I love Xylotar.
Xylotar's fantastic.
I think I want more plays of this one to maybe decide, but right now I would have to give the edge to Xylotar, because it's so unique in how it plays. Right. And this is too, but
I could see
Xylotar flows a little easier.
That's what I was going to say. Yeah. I could see this if you play this game 15, 20 times with the same group, and everybody understands it that well, it would be better than Xylotar. But Xylotar, I can play with a different group, and I can play with
a few minutes.
Yeah, within a few minutes, and
as long as your table's big enough.
Yeah, exactly. But I can get into it more, and so I don't know that I could directly compare the two because of that.
Yeah, they're very different, but it's a good one if you can get over that initial hump.
For sure. I loved it, and I think that I want to play more of it. I'm scared to play it with new people.
Yeah, I get that. And like I said, I think I could find a better way to teach it than I did the first play. And I hadn't actually played yet.
So it was hard to wrap your head around anyway.
But it was well worth the experience. So
yeah.
That is Seers Catalog.
So another game we played that night was one that has been talked about on the show before. Ben talked about this one a while back. It's called CuBirds, and it's a game that Greg brought to the table that night, and I won't spend too much time on it since we've already discussed it before, but I wanted to give my experience with it now that I've played it. This is a simple card game in which there are a variety of different kinds of birds on every card, and they don't all have the same art. I see.
No, they don't.
I see Tyler making faces over here.
Why's that bird facing the other way?
They are like Qubit kind of arts, 8-bit like art kind of on them, and most of the birds all look very clearly at one type of bird, but there's one suit in there that we kind of struggled with because it looked the wrong direction a couple of times and it was hard to see. But each card has a different bird on it, and essentially what you're trying to do in this game is collect a certain amount of each suit of cards. Every type of bird has a certain amount of them. For example, like parrots. You have parrots in there, and there are 13 parrot cards in the deck. Ducks have also 13 cards. A toucan has 10 cards. And then, like, there's some that have, like, only 7, like a flamingo. And I think the biggest one is like a little robin or something that has, like, 20 cards in it in the deck. So there are finite quantities of each of these birds in the deck, and the goal is to collect cards. To do that, each round you're going to choose a card from your hand. If it's only one bird of that suit, you only have to play one card. But if you have multiple birds of that suit in your hand, you have to play all the birds down on the table. There's 4 rows of birds that already exist there. So you pick a single row and you place the bird on either the left or the right of the row. If that makes a kind of bookend of a bird with another bird, so say you have a row and on one side there's a duck, and then there's no ducks for the rest of the row, but there's several other birds, and then I have a duck in my hand and I put on the right side of the row another duck to bookend it, I can collect all the birds in the middle and
your
take
ducks stay.
The ducks stay on the board. And then so you're trying to exchange birds to get a certain amount, and each of these birds have a score limit. So like ducks, for example, if you have 4 ducks in your hand, you can score and get 1 point. If you have 6 ducks in your hand, you can get 2 points. And the way to win this game is to have 3 points in a single bird, or in 2 different bird categories, or 2 birds in
6 out of the 7?
6 of the 7 types of birds. So you're trying to collect as many birds as you can, essentially.
Yeah, you're trying to, and be the first one to do it. Whoever does it first wins.
Yeah, everybody else loses. It's an immediate, like, they've scored it and they win. So it was a interesting process, that, like, a unique mechanism that I hadn't really seen before, and interesting play that created some really fun moments and really frustrating moments. There were like times where we would have like 10 different birds in the middle, but nobody wanted to grab them for whatever reason, or vice versa. Somebody had to put like 5 birds down from their hand because that was the only bird available in their card. And then there's another rule in the game that makes some really interesting things.
If a player exhausts their hand of cards, then everybody resets their hands and gets dealt new cards, so you can see someone's doing really well and it's like, oh, I only got this one card in my hand, I'm going to get rid of it, and now everybody gets fresh hand of cards, the same number of cards, right?
And you could do it strategically because you know people are close to cashing out on a certain amount of birds or whatever, and they're gonna get close to winning.
Yeah.
And so it's like, well, I'm gonna empty everybody's hands so they can't score that, and it makes for some interesting plays.
So it's really a simple set collection game with a few interesting twists, but I thought the flow of the game was really good, and it was a fun experience. We played with 5 players, I think, or 4 or 5, and it flowed really well, and it was a good experience.
Yeah, I like
super light, right?
Yeah.
So 1.32 complexity.
Yeah,
So,
in spite of my rules description of it, it's lighter than it may sound.
Yeah, I thought we were talking about Luthier again.
Yeah, no, that's okay.
No, just kidding.
I need to learn how to teach Seers Catalog. I didn't have to teach that one, so that's fine.
Yeah, that sounds awesome. Yeah, it's one I'd want to play. Cool.
Yeah. So that's CuBirds.
Nice. Sounds awesome. Next game I'm going to talk about. This is an oldie.
Yeah.
Came out in 2007. It is, at least at this time, it was a Days of Wonder game designed by Wolfgang Kramer and Marcus Lübke. This is Colosseum. So in Colosseum, you act as a Roman impresario, and you're trying to put on the greatest events and the greatest spectacles in your Colosseum and attract as many spectators to your shows as you can. That's the whole point of the game. So there's this track that goes around the board, and you place your Colosseum on this track. This has a mechanic that most gamers hate. Roll and move, but that's what this track is. And there's ways to mitigate the roll and move, so it's not that bad. I think they do a good job of that, but I'll talk about that in a minute. So you put your Colosseum out there, and it covers 2 spots on this track, and then you play the game. So the game turn has 5 different phases. So the first phase is investing. And investing is how you get new things, right? So you can buy an event program. Event programs are the events that you're going to be putting on to attract more people, right? You can get a new one of those. You can expand your arena, and this is kind of cool. So you just put a little extension in the middle of your arena. Instead of 2 spaces, it becomes 3 spaces. You can expand it again, and it becomes 4 spaces. And you need larger arenas to put on more grand spectacles. So you need to expand to be able to get more people to come. You can purchase season tickets, which is kind of cool. You're selling season tickets, so you get more people to your events. And then you can construct an Emperor's Loge, and that just means that you have more power to adjust where the Emperor goes. You're rolling additional dice. Okay. So that is investing. And then you acquire asset tokens. So these asset tokens are what you need in order to put your event on. So you could have lions, you could have other types of performers, plants, like other things that this event needs. You're going to acquire those, and you do that via auction. So you will auction, if you're starting the auction, you have to start at a minimum of 8 coins, and then it goes around, people can outbid you. Or you can pass if you don't want anything in that auction. So everybody's going to have the chance to get something to put their show on with. Then you can trade. So this is an interesting part of the game. You can actually trade tokens back and forth between players. You may have something that somebody else needs. They may have something that you need, or you can be completely shut out because nobody needs what you have, that type of thing. So you're trading back and forth. Then you produce your event. You're going to roll a die, and there's senators, there's consuls, there's the emperor that are moving around this board. You roll the die, and it will allow them to move a certain number of spaces. The whole goal is you want them to visit your Colosseum so that you can get more spectators. If you have the emperor in your Colosseum, it's going to draw more people to your show. Then you produce your event. As long as you have enough of the things that your event requires. So if your event is the Circus Maximus, for example, you need some warriors, you need some horses, you need some chariots, you need a plant. If you have all of those things, you're going to maximize the number of people that come see your show. You don't need everything, but for one thing that you don't have, less people are going to come see. You're going to get less spectators. And there's a minimum number of things that you need in order to put your show on. So you produce your event, and then you count how many spectators come. So the event will tell you how many come. If you've produced other events in the past, an additional 5 spectators will come because they know you put on good events. You add spectators for star performers. There's ways to get those throughout the game. The Emperor will give you spectators. Bunch of different ways to get spectators. And then you move your scoring track to however many spectators that you got for that performance alone. You play, I think, over 5 rounds. You are going to score at the end of the game for your highest event that you performed. So it's not cumulative. It's only the highest event that you performed. So if you performed your highest event in the 4th round, that's the one you're going to count, not the one in the 5th round if it was less than that. And whoever did that at the end of the game is going to be the winner of Colosseum. So I had a blast with this. I thought it was fun. I played this game a long time ago. It's probably been over 10 years. It was fun to break it out. I had a blast. I think it does a lot of things well.
Yeah, I thought it was really fun. That was my first play of it ever. And you have the old school, old non
Tasty Minstrel version.
Yeah, non-dorked up version.
Yep.
And it was a good experience. I really enjoyed the gameplay. I liked that you're building towards this epic round, trying to outdo a previous score, and maybe you do a decent one in the third round and you score well, and it's like, okay, now I'm really going to go for it and try to put together an epic last round score and outdo what you've done previously. I like that it's based on who scores the most point in any given round, right? I almost felt like Seers Catalog should have been that way, and I made that comment.
You did make that comment.
Yeah, and then I had an amazing fourth round.
Yes, I disagreed with that comment.
Yeah, yeah. Well, anyway, I really liked Colosseum. It does feel like a bit of an older design. I wonder, and I only have one play, but I wondered about player balance as far as where your Colosseum is starting out on the board in relation to where like the Emperor
Emperor is, or the consoles, or the
yeah. I wonder first player how that plays into it each round, and I don't know. I wondered how well it would feel,
how that balancing,
how it balances out. I've only played one. I feel like this is a game that you can conspire against your other players to try and take points away from them
by not trading with them, or by
moving guys out of their Colosseum on purpose.
You can absolutely do that.
By trading with someone that gives them the bonus token and takes away 5 points.
The star performer. Because the star performer, you get that if you have the majority of that type of performer. Yeah. I think it's at a minimum of 4 performers, right? So which can be, it can make a difference, right?
Yeah. So if that rubs you the wrong way, that there can be a little bit of conspiring / almost even king-making to a certain extent.
A little bit.
Maybe avoid it. But it is cool that we are getting a new version of this and
then an additional game kind of in the series, which is cool. So there's a new, and it's a step up even from the Days of Wonder version, right? It looks like it anyway.
It looks amazing.
The art looks absolutely
in the previous episode.
Yep.
And I still don't know that we know whether or not they've revamped it or fine-tuned some of these rules.
I did read about it. They have updated the rules a little bit, but they also included the original rules in case people want to play the original version. So it's not like, I don't think a drastic change, but there's some rules tweaks for sure.
I'm definitely interested in the Ave Titus new version of the game. I don't know that I'm going to back anything, but I'm definitely interested.
It's on your radar anyway.
With the Miko and, tool arts and the redesigns a little bit and upgraded components, I hope, and hopefully non-TMG type quality stuff.
Yeah, I'm sticking with my Days of Wonder version. It's kind of a collector's item at the moment. So it's beautiful production. Yeah, the Days of Wonder production. I mean, it's done really well.
It always baffles me that like the TMG version is considered the worst version here. And I totally get why. I've seen both and I can agree. But like Tasty Minstrels was well established for their deluxeified versions of games. Like Orleans, I have the Crusaders Thy Will Be Done, right? Like they have so many games that they were known for deluxeifying components and making the quality of a game even better. Well, but I don't know that they did that so well with Colosseum.
I'm looking at the version of it, and there's this dorky looking emperor dude, or maybe that's the console. And it's definitely, it's not a looker.
Yeah. I mean, they went in a different direction with it.
They did. And it just doesn't look as good for sure.
I think I mentioned this multiple times while we were playing. It just made me want to go watch Gladiator.
Right. And we listened to the music as we were playing, which was awesome.
Yeah.
It was a lot of fun.
And, Gladiator 2 coming out this year. I don't know if you knew that.
I did see that, yeah.
Yeah.
I'm not sure how I feel about that at all.
Yeah, I don't know either how I feel about it, but it looks interesting at the very least.
Yeah. So, I mean, I think it's fun. I'm super glad I have it in my collection. I'm glad I brought it out and played again, and I'm sure I'll be playing it again soon. So,
Cool. Were you
check
not
it out.
entertained?
I was, yes.
Are you not entertained? Are you not entertained?
Nice. I was very entertained. So check it out if that sounds good. Actually, check out the Kickstarter because it's probably hard to find a copy of it at the moment. But when the Kickstarter drops, check it out if this sounds interesting. That's Colosseum.
Nice. Another game that I got played this weekend, this got sent to us by Cosmos. It is Exit the Game, The Hunt Through Amsterdam. And these are, of course, designed by Inka and Marcus Brand, published by Cosmos. This one, I had not played an Exit game for a while. I think, Tyson, you talked about the Lord of the Rings one a while ago when we did the Lord of the Rings episode. It's been a few years since I've played an Exit game.
You love that Lord of the Rings game, right?
Yeah.
Okay, yeah.
I think he had one too many puzzles that were just not. No.
Yeah, not solvable. Is that what you're trying to get at? That I wasn't intelligent enough to handle the Exit game?
Oh. Are you okay?
No, it's too much laughing. Yeah, we're good. We're good.
Okay, so the Exit games, if you don't know, they don't have a player board. They have some components that you start out with at the beginning of the game. You have some mystery that you're trying to solve, and you're going to work your way through 6 or 7 or 8 various different puzzles that get revealed over the course of the game. And sometimes you'll get bits and pieces here, sometimes you'll get bits and pieces there, sometimes you'll get a whole puzzle all at once, all the components you need for it. But there's a storyline that goes along with them. And I'm not going to go into what the actual puzzles are, but this one I loved the theme of it. When I opened the box and saw what it was, I was like, oh, awesome. They sent another one to the Magical Academy. So I've got that in Shrink. We could play that anytime you guys want to play. But this one is The Hunt Through Amsterdam. So one of Vincent van Gogh's paintings has been stolen, and you're trying to find it. You're making your way through Amsterdam, solving and figuring out clues and different puzzles within the game. I spent a couple of years in the Netherlands. I spent a ton of time in Amsterdam. I've been to the Van Gogh Museum. That was an amazing experience. It was really fun for me to see some of the locations and some of the interesting things and some of the words and the names. And I loved this experience. Every Exit game that I've ever played, there's always one or two puzzles where I'm like, what the heck? You know what I mean? Like they get to the point where they're kind of frustrating.
Almost off the wall kind of a thing. Like it was like
really
how was I supposed to
random.
make that logical jump?
Yeah.
And they have varying degrees of level, novice to expert, right? We played this. My brother-in-law was visiting with his girls, and we played it with them. And so we had 5 or 6 people around the table, and it suggests 1 to 4. I think sometimes maybe there's too many players at the table when you're
Too many cooks in the kitchen trying to have an opinion.
But it was a really fun experience. There were a couple of puzzles that I figured out that were just really cool and really well done. A couple that were a little bit frustrating, but overall I enjoyed the experience. I've got the new one, this other one, the Magical Academy, to play, and I've got some other ones that I purchased in the past to get to shipping thresholds that it made me want to go play those too, with my wife and with my older son Logan, right? So I really enjoyed the experience. The Hunt Through Amsterdam, it was one of the more memorable ones, but it's also the theme that I've had the most investment in. So that is The Hunt Through Amsterdam.
Nice.
Yeah.
I've played a few Exit games. I think The Secret Lab is one that I played, and it's been a long time, but I remember enjoying it. I mean, you're ripping stuff up. It's a one and done type of experience.
One and done. You have to,
for sure.
Yep.
Yeah.
And the component quality matches that, rightfully so, right? Like and the only one I've played is the Lord of the Rings one, and
You played it solo.
I played it sort of with my wife.
Oh, okay.
Who is not a big gamer anyway, but we have done escape rooms together, her and I, and she likes that kind of stuff. But the theme for the Lord of the Rings one just didn't make any sense to me. So like it was like not the storyline at all of The Hobbit or whichever. I can't even remember at this point because I purged it from my mind. But like I would like to try an exit game that doesn't have the IP attached to it, that is like its standalone thing. It's focused on the puzzles, not trying to match to a specific IP for the sake of the IP, because that's what I felt like the Lord of the Rings one was doing.
Okay. Yeah.
And so if I'd be interested in trying another one of these for sure, but
we've got one.
Yeah.
You should play it.
Yeah. I've played just the Unlock, just the Star Wars one, and that one fell completely flat for me, and maybe it was an IP type thing.
I've played through a few of those, and I thought they were okay.
Yeah, I think I like the exit games more. The puzzles are very unique, but there are always a couple that's like, how the heck was I supposed to figure that out? Or how were we supposed to get that? There are clue cards that you can use that can point you in the right direction. There's 2 clue cards and a solution card for each puzzle. And so like the first one kind of gives you a hint, and then the second one really dives in like, hey, you should be doing this. And then there's the solution card. But
hey, dummy,
They
this
don't
is the solution.
necessarily like that was the other issue I had with the Lord of the Rings one, was the times that I did get stuck. I looked at the hint cards and I was like, yeah, I already knew that. And then I looked at the second one, I was like, yeah, I already knew that one too. And so now I can only look at the solution, and that detracts from your overall score at the end of it. So I was like,
Yeah,
why did I look
it
at
does.
all this stuff?
and your score is also based on how fast you do it.
Yeah.
I don't know that we've ever scored well on timing, but
Is there an app for it, or no? You just time it.
yeah, you just start a stopwatch on your phone or whatever.
Yeah, I can't remember from the other ones. So cool.
Yeah. So,
Yeah, I think I lean a little bit more towards Unlock, just because of the replayable nature of the game. I mean, not that you're going to go. I could go replay the Unlocks that I've played before and probably not remember what we did, but you can loan them to people and they can play and have that experience as well. But I remember enjoying the exit games and thinking they were great too. So I mean, they're fun. I like them.
And generally, I mean, they're pretty affordable.
Absolutely.
They're 10 to 13, 15 bucks maybe. So.
Well, and that whole argument, like people say, oh, I'm not going to play a legacy game because you're destroying things and you can't play it again. It's like, I never understood that argument.
Yeah.
Because you're spending 50, 60 bucks for an experience. You know, you're playing those games 12, 15 times or whatever. You're getting your money's worth out of it.
And they're still lasting like 20 hours for a legacy game type of thing. And this
Right.
one is giving you
And
however
this is
many
like
hours.
$10 and you're
getting a couple hours out of it.
You're getting a couple of hours out of it, or however long you're having a fun experience with friends, or, you know, if you're doing it solo, you're having a good fun experience. It's like,
That's
whatever.
a lot cheaper than going to a 2-hour movie.
Or
Yeah.
going to an escape room,
Yeah,
right?
or
Like
going-
with
Yes.
a group, right?
So
Like
I've never understood that argument. It's like,
Yeah.
you're having fun. It's a good $10 spent.
away your board game when you were done.
That's ridiculous.
Yeah.
Yeah.
we pay for experiences. That's what we're doing.
Yeah.
Yep.
So yeah, that's another exit game, The Hunt Through Amsterdam.
All right, I got one more to talk about.
One
we
more.
we got a lot of games. Okay, so this game, I recently picked it up. It is designed by Kevin Russ and art is done by Beth Sobel. This is Calico. It is published by Flat Out Games. This is a game that Tyler is going to love. It's about cats, and I know how much he loves cats. Am I right?
And they're so
I didn't know
cute.
I'd ever professed my hatred for cats before.
I don't know. I've heard it somewhere.
Okay.
Yeah, I heard it somewhere.
I'm not a cat fan.
Yeah.
Yeah.
But
Mlem.
I grew up with
we
people-
talked about Mlem.
Yeah,
We've
I
talked
grew up
about
with
cats.
people who were allergic to them. My wife's allergic to some of them. I think cats are kind of the A word of the episode.
They're the A word.
They're the A word.
That was the only one that was actually the
Wait a minute,
A word.
is the A word awesome?
Cats are kind of A words.
Yeah. Okay. There you go.
Amazing.
That's the word of the episode. All right. So, the theme, Tyler doesn't connect with it, but I think the theme is great. It's a lot of fun. You're making a quilt and you're trying to attract cats to the quilt. All right.
Oh,
Which that kicked it up a notch, right? All right. So the way that you do this is you have tiles and you're putting tiles on the quilt. Everybody takes 22 turns, right? And you're drafting these tiles. So you start off with 2 tiles. You select one, you put it on your board, and then you take tiles from 3 available tiles. And then you refill from the bag, and then it goes to the next player. So what are you trying to do? Well, you're trying to score your design goals. So everybody has 3 design tiles on their quilt. And you get points at the end of the game for how you put tiles around this design tile. So for example, there's one that says you're trying to get sets of the same color and you want 3 sets of the same color around this tile. All the tiles have a different pattern as well. And you're also trying to get 3 sets of the same pattern, right? So 2 of one pattern, 2 of another pattern, and then 2 of another pattern. If you can successfully do both of those things, you get the higher value for that scoring tile. So you get 11. If you can do one of those things, either color or pattern, then you get the lower value, which is 7 in this example. So each of the endgame scoring tiles have a different criteria that you're trying to meet. So you're placing tiles around them. All right. You're also trying to attract cats to your tile or to your quilt. And the cats like certain patterns. So there'll be 3 cats that are available in the game. They will have their preferred pattern type below them, and that's randomized. You put them out at the beginning of the game, and you're trying to match the pattern and then the shape of the pattern on your quilt. There is a frame to the quilt, and then there's pattern tiles that are on the frame. Those count as well. And then you can draft and place these patterns on your quilt. And as soon as you do that, you take the cat token and you put it on your quilt, and you're going to get points for that at the end of the game. You're also trying to put buttons on your quilt, and buttons correspond to colors. So if you get colors that match, you're going to put a button on there, and you're trying to get 6 different buttons. So the whole game, you're trying to balance between the end game design goals, getting cats onto your quilt, and then getting buttons onto the quilt as well. So it's this massive puzzle of trying to figure out how to do all 3 of these things.
Massive patchwork.
This is
all
it's
the
I was going to say,
patchwork.
this is the designer of this game played Patchwork and said, you know what this game needs? More cats.
Yeah.
And designed it. I mean, it sounds fun, but like...
Oh, patchwork. Oh, yeah, the
it
quilt.
sounds like
the quilt.
it's patchwork with the buttons and the...
I mean,
well,
the
there's
play-
the experience.
It's
yeah.
different. It's completely different than patchwork, other than the theme, right?
Right.
I mean, you've got buttons in a quilt,
Yeah.
right? But the gameplay is not
No,
not even
absolutely.
close to what that is. But yeah, thematically,
But I'm saying that
maybe
like,
patchwork needs more cats.
that's what I'm saying.
Right?
The designer said, if only Patchwork had cats in it.
You know what cats are cool that I would consider getting one of?
The naked cats?
No, those things are ugly. A Maine Coon. Have you guys ever seen those? They're like ginormous. They're like and they have a personality, mentality, or a disposition of dogs, kind of. I mean,
Okay.
they
You want a dog, is what you're saying.
but they're ginormous.
A dog
and
in
they're
cat form is what you're looking
it's
for.
Freaking cool. Yeah. Have you ever seen them? Look up Maine Coon.
Maine Coon.
Maine Coon. Yeah.
There's also these Norwegian cats that are massive as
Yeah.
well. Yeah. Oh yeah.
I've seen those
Yeah.
ones too.
Cool.
Those
Yeah.
are that's your type of cat.
Yeah, or the 6-fingered ones that live in Key West on the Hemingway property down there.
Okay,
Bunch of
okay.
inbred cats down there.
Okay.
Yeah, lived in Key West for
Nice.
a year. or so.
Six-finger man killed my father.
Yeah.
Oh, nice. I can see that you have no interest in this game, Tyler. But
No, we were talking themes.
we're talking theme,
quilting, and
right?
patchwork.
Quilting. Do you have any quilting stories that you can tell us, please?
He's
Please, Tyler,
trying
tell
to
us.
show his love of cats. He's trying to
yeah.
prove you wrong.
Yeah,
That's what it
because
is.
Right, yeah.
you instantly were attacking me when you started describing this theme
Because
of
I knew
this
you didn't
game.
like cats.
Yet the only cats that he could
There-
say he likes
so,
are
you know-
cats that are dogs.
Do you know where I got that from?
Where?
Discord. You made a comment on Discord. There was a cat game that came up. Do you remember what that was?
Was it Boop?
No, it wasn't Boop. It was recent. There was a cat game, and you said, I would back this if it wasn't about cats or something like that. Yeah. That's the only reason I said that comment is because I pulled that off your Discord comment. But it was just random luck that I found out you didn't like
When
cats.
I was in the military, and Shelly and I had been married for like 6 months, we adopted a cat. It was black. We named it Vader.
Okay. Yeah.
And then
I like it.
like half a day later, we realized that Shelley was allergic to it. And we take it back.
Threw it off of into the hole of the Death
Tyson,
Star and
what?
stuff.
Yeah. We took it back to the original.
No, Tyson, no.
Very humanely returned it. So I don't know. I grew up with siblings allergic to cats. My wife's allergic to cats.
Generally, there's cat or dog people, right?
Yeah.
I mean, that's very common.
Yeah.
And there's a lot that like both. But a lot of people are either a cats or a dog person.
I'm curious what you like, Kevin. What do you like about this game?
Yeah. It seems very...
Tyler completely derailed this. All right.
So I like that it seems like the tiles are variable of these sets and patterns that you're trying to create. And I think that could create some mini plays of variable...
Kevin, please tell us what you like.
He is just stretching.
Selling it. He's selling it.
Boy,
it sounds interesting.
He just clicked purchase.
You're trying,
and the game is coming to him.
That A word's coming back
tiny
here.
towns. Yeah. You're playing tiny towns with
this
a cat
episode
clip.
is sponsored by the letter A.
This looks like tiny towns. You're trying to create set
Don't
patterns.
you dare bring up Tiny Towns. Oh my gosh. I actually like this game.
Yeah, but you're trying to do the same thing. You're trying to create set patterns around
the difference is
points
Tiny
on the
Towns
board.
is horrible and this is fun.
You don't get to a point where you're forced into playing something that you don't want to play in this game.
You absolutely do that. You get to the end and you're hoping for the right pattern or the right color to complete or maximize what's on your board. The game is it's an abstract puzzle. That's all it is, with a pasted on theme of cats and quilts, right? It could be it could be Lord of the Rings, right? And then
Tiny Towns is pretty abstract like that too.
It is, but
with a pasted on animal people.
90% of the games out there are pasted on themes. But
I'm getting Tiny Towns vibes from this.
Yeah. If any of this sounds good to you,
if you were able to discern any of the
if you're able to get any
gameplay.
nugget of how this game plays or anything about it from our discussion, then go check it out. I think it's fun. It's made by the same people that made Cascadia, which we won't go into that and Tyson's feelings about that, or Tyler's feelings.
I have good feelings about that.
I love Cascadia. I think it's fantastic.
Cascade is great.
Well, that's
Cascadia
what I was going to ask. Does this follow suit with their pedigree of Cascadia? If you like Cascadia, is this another way to enjoy that space of abstract play?
Yeah, it was mentioned on our Discord that somebody, I forget who it was, really likes this game. And I knew that it was made by the same people that made Cascadia. And it is a similar weight. And I get similar vibes from it as well, because you are drafting these quilt pieces. In Cascadia, you're drafting the tiles that go in your habitats. So I get a similar vibe. So I think if you like that one, you have a good chance of liking this one as well.
It looks like a good family weight abstract game.
Yeah, I played it with my 11-year-old, and she beat me by one, which was awesome.
Nice.
She was super excited about that, and she loved it. So if this sounds good, then check it out. Right?
Yeah.
Calico.
Calico.
Is this on Board Game Arena?
Not that I know of. I don't think it is.
Okay. Well, I think that wraps up at least the games that we're going to talk about, but we've been playing lots of games lately. We've been not recording as much, but we wanted to get caught up on some of the games that we have explored or experienced recently. So it's been a fun discussion, I thought.
Yeah.
It's been good.
We've got some fun things coming. We're maybe going to redo our top games of all time lists, and that might turn into 2 or 3 episodes, but we're excited to do those.
Which we've mentioned Anachrony about 8 times in this episode already. It'll be interesting to see where Anachrony falls on our list.
It was number one for two of us.
For 2 of us, it was number 1.
Falls being the key word there.
Yeah,
Maybe.
Tyler has expressed his opinions about Anachrony a few times, where it's not
it
quite
was in my top 10.
where it's
No, it
not
was,
not
actually.
quite where it was before
Yeah.
for you. But we'll see where it ends up, right?
But speaking of things that we're excited about, is there anything else we're excited about?
Yes, I've
Yes.
got several actually things
several?
that I'm excited about. So one of the things that I'm most excited about right now is I've got Kickstarter notices that I've got a couple games on boats.
What?
Ooh, what's coming?
Nice.
Well, one of them is something that you both should be excited about as well. Cthulhu Death May Die.
Nice.
Yeah, that
it-
still
it
feels like
sort
it's
of-
going to be months away.
Yeah.
Boats, and I say they're on boats, both of these games. They're both probably,
It's delivering in China right now. I think, so.
it's
Yeah.
not. It's not,
I'm still super excited.
Yeah,
that it's,
absolutely.
that it's
I'm
getting closer.
absolutely excited.
Yep.
Cthulhu Death May Die, I think, is
Do you know what I'm not excited about for Cthulhu Death May Die? So San Diego Comic-Con, did you guys see this?
Yeah.
Godzilla
was an exclusive.
was an exclusive. I love Godzilla, right? I recently watched Godzilla -1.
I've been wanting to watch that.
Incredible show.
I've been meaning to watch it.
It is so good. I go watch all the Godzilla movies with my daughter. Recently, the one that came out with Caitlin, she's 17. It's just dumb fun, right? And I love it. The fact that it's an exclusive at San Diego Comic-Con, you can get it on eBay for like $200. It's like, I'm not going to spend that, but I want it so bad.
Yeah.
I don't know. That's just irritating to me.
Does it come with a scenario too on that one?
It's like an Elder one that you add to any scenario, I think, is what it is. But
Yeah.
anyway.
It looks cool, but it's
does.
like, come on.
make it available to
Well,
everybody.
that's the same thing that there's Star Wars Unlimited exclusive promo set at Gen Con, and I'm not going to Gen Con. So
Yeah.
I don't know.
I get why they do it, but it's like, come on.
Yeah.
Make it more widely available.
Yeah.
Why it's more collectible. It's also
But it shouldn't be collectible, right? Do you want money? Do you like money? Then make it available for everybody, and everybody will buy it.
Yeah.
Right?
You're making it.
But not
making
everybody
money
will.
for the one guy who gets a couple of them and then can turn around and sell them secondhand, right?
But
Exactly.
it doesn't make sense to print them on scale of what you would normally print one of these other ones, unless it's paired with a Kickstarter, then maybe. But like the reason Kickstarter is really useful to publishers is because they can gauge interest. Without that, they can't gauge the interest of these promotional items. And so they do it for con releases because it's easier to be able to say, well, that didn't work out as well as we wanted. It's okay. We'll put it towards our marketing expenses.
Do one print run that you know you're going to sell and just make it available for everybody. And then if you're super interested in it, you can get that
And if
in
you're
the first print
Simon,
run.
I think you can afford to take a loss if for some reason it's a dud. But if you're doing Godzilla,
That has huge appeal to a lot of people, right?
Yeah.
Like that's going to sell out. Like I get Star Wars Unlimited, Lorcana, like stuff that's exclusive it's a collectible, it's a trading card game, right?
Yeah.
You're going to want cards that are worth a lot of money
still hurts a little
to
bit.
gain interest in the game, right?
Yeah.
Like there's D23 stuff for Lorcana that is super expensive. That's only at the D23, convention.
yeah, who's ever going to pay to go to that?
Yeah, I mean, I would
Definitely know it's not Tyler.
yeah, right. I would love to go and pick up some of that stuff, but it increases interest in your collectible card game. I get that for collectible card games, but for
Yeah.
stuff like Cthulhu Death May Die or whatever, it's just more annoying than anything to me, anyway.
Something that I'm excited about, Mistborn, the deck building game.
Nice.
Designed by John D. Clare. I think it's Brotherwise Games.
Awesome.
Is available for pre-order, and it's pretty affordable.
Really, yeah.
Like
So,
$30, right? Something like that.
Yeah, so that's available at Boardlandia. Game Nerds had it.
Awesome.
I think it's more of a November release, but just the fact that another game exists in that world of Brandon Sanderson's makes me excited.
And John
maybe
Clare.
the game, right? Maybe
Yeah.
the game will be terrible, but I'm excited for it, and it'll be fun to explore. And deck building, I mean, it's hard to design a bad deck building game at this point, right?
For somebody like John DeClaire, I
would
think
hope.
it is.
I would hope that it's hard to. I hope it's a great game.
Yeah.
I mean, there's not a lot of cards in it that I look. It's like 130 cards or something. So
Yeah.
I mean, but that doesn't mean anything, right? But
Right. And I think they have. I think I've seen that they have plans for expansions if it does well.
well,
but
there's all kinds of content to expand
absolutely.
into.
Well,
so
and you can tap into ferrochemy
And if they really wanted to go crazy, they could go into the entire Cosmere at a certain point, right? Like,
yeah,
yeah, there's a lot of content there.
that's a coin game. I want a coin game of Sadius versus Dalinar.
yeah. I wish
That would be awesome.
Yeah.
in some form.
That would be
I don't
fantastic.
know.
Or even in like their armies, right? Like,
Yeah.
yeah, absolutely.
Yeah.
There you go.
Phenomenal. I would.
So deck builders.
Yeah.
I'm excited about a deck builder that is another old deck builder. So have you guys played Ascension?
I have.
Nope.
So I've had a lot of time where I can't do much lately. So so there's a Game Found campaign going on for a new Ascension expansion, right? This is just like Dominion. They're on like expansion 800 at this point, right? There's a ton of expansions for Ascension already. So I'm like, maybe I'll jump into Ascension because there's this fantastic app that's out there. Have you played that app?
I've played the app.
The app came out forever ago, and I played it like 10 years ago and remember loving it. So I'm like, I'm just going to break out the app and just play again. Started playing Ascension again. I'm like, holy crap, this game is amazing. I love it. I think the app is super well done. So I'm like, I'm just going to start working through all the expansions because I haven't played all the expansions. So I would go to the next expansion, read the rules real quick. It doesn't add a whole lot of new stuff. Play the game. I'm like, oh, this is awesome. Then I'd go to the next expansion. So I'm almost through all the expansions in Ascension. And I'm absolutely loving it. This game is fantastic. So I think I'm going to back the new campaign because I want a physical version of the game after 14 years. So I'm going to back the new expansion, and I'm probably going to pick up a few of the older expansions after I've had a chance to kind of test them out on the app because there's some really fun ones.
I think one of the best things about Ascension is its ability to create game-breaking combos.
I love that.
It just makes you feel so powerful.
Yes.
When you're like, I can just drain my deck and
I
play every card in my deck.
I play 30 cards,
Yeah.
you know?
Like,
I love that about the game. So some people may criticize, okay, there's a card row in the middle and it's random how the cards come out in the card row. There's 6 cards that are available that you can purchase, but that makes the game, like we've talked about how games are tactical, right? That it makes the game a little bit more tactical. There's not like in Dominion, you have a set amount of kingdom cards. You know exactly what's there. You can buy it. You can build your strategy and see if your strategy works. This one, it's a random set of heroes, monsters, constructs, stuff that come out that, okay, I have to deal with what I have. And does it fit with my strategy? Which is a super fun puzzle to figure out. And then, like you said, when you get the game ramps very well, when you get towards the end of the game, you're pulling off these crazy fun combos. You have all this cool stuff that you can do. You feel powerful. And then you don't know necessarily who's going to win because you have a pool of victory points that you can get. Once that's gone, the game ends. But then every card that you get has a point value on it as well. So unless you're counting what everybody else is getting, you don't know what they have in their deck. So it's this exciting finish every time when you're counting up what everybody has. And in the app, it does it automatically, but you're waiting for that screen to refresh and go to the next screen to see who won, you know, which is just a really fun, cool experience. So deck builders have come a long way. A lot of deck builders now are just one mechanic in a larger game. You know, you look at Lost Ruins of Arnak or Great Western Trail or Dune Imperium. It's just part of a bigger game.
Yeah.
There's not a lot of what I would call pure deck builders anymore. And I love the throwback to the pure deck builder, whether that's Dominion or Anachrony or Thunderstone.
and by Anachrony, you mean Ascension.
So it's getting late. Dominion, Ascension, Thunderstone. I'd love to play Thunderstone Quest because, I think they've added more stuff to it at this point, but it's kind of a throwback to how deck builders used to be. So
Yeah.
I'm excited about it.
So did you say the app itself, when you go to play a new expansion, is it like a couple bucks for each?
Couple of bucks. So I bought all of them, but the last expansion for like $12. Right. So it's affordable. You
Nice.
know, you're not, it's definitely money well spent, I think, for the amount of enjoyment I've already gotten out of it.
Well, and the app itself is free, right? The base
I believe so. I mean,
Or
like
at
I said,
certain points it
I
has
downloaded
been, yeah.
it like 10 years ago, so I can't remember.
And that's how I am too. But
So a lot of times that's what they do, right? They give you the base for free and then they charge for the expansions. But it's like a few bucks for each expansion.
it's well worth trying it out on that app if you're at all interested in it, because I agree. It's a very fun, pure deck builder game.
Yeah.
One that I should go re-download the app again and
Right.
challenge you, get your ID, and
Let's do it.
and do that.
That'd be
Nice.
awesome. Yeah, that'd be a lot of fun. And it plays so fast.
Yeah.
Yeah. So
Something I've been really enjoying lately is Shadows of the Galaxy. Star Wars Unlimited, the new set.
Oh, yeah.
It's been awesome. I love that game. It is so much fun. And I had the experience that I didn't have with the first couple of booster boxes from the first set that I got. I pulled a couple showcases, which was awesome. I haven't actually sold those yet. I've sold some other cards, but I love Star Wars Unlimited. It is just awesome. So I cannot wait for the next set. I looked up the name, but I've forgotten it, but it comes out in November, I think, and it'll be the third set of the year, and totally all in on this one. So loving Star Wars Unlimited.
Yeah, you're having a similar experience to me and Lorcana. So the second set of Lorcana, I pulled 2 Enchanted. Had a dry spell since then, so hopefully you don't get a dry spell, but it's a fun experience opening up one of those valuable cards, Yeah. It's cool. Yeah.
It's just fun opening, going pack after pack after pack in a booster box. I don't know.
And then organizing them. The tedious part is logging all of your new cards, right?
Yeah.
But other than that, it's awesome. Yeah.
The site that I use, it does it by pack, or you can enter them by pack.
Oh, really?
Yeah. So you put
Is there a code on the pack?
Cards. No, sorry, you don't scan it. You still have to put the numbers in of each card.
Oh, sure. Okay.
But you put them in and then say, this one's a hyperspace, this one's a foil, and this one's a foil hyperspace, right?
Yeah.
It's still a little bit tedious, but
sure.
You can.
But once you have all that data in there, it is so much fun for deck building.
Yes.
So we built decks a few days ago for Lorcana, and I have a big gaming table. The whole table is filled full of cards, like my side, what I'm building, and then my daughter's side on the other side. And that's just such a fun, cool process. Coming up with an idea and then looking through everything that you have and pulling out cards that match with that is really cool.
Yeah.
So, yeah, they're fun. Those games are awesome. Glad you're enjoying Unlimited. Sounds awesome.
Yeah, I'm really loving it. So, are we excited about anything else?
Oh, I mean, we skipped over the second game that I was excited about.
Well, we take turns, but...
No.
Oh, okay.
I said I have 2 games that I'm excited about. The first one is this, and then nobody completed.
Well, we wanted the best.
It's fine. Yeah. And then it's fine. It's fine, because
Is it a cat game?
It is a cat game.
Really?
I mean, there's cats in the game.
Oh.
It's Unconscious Mind.
Oh, is this...
Oh, you had two Kickstarters.
Yeah.
I remember. Okay, go.
Yeah, exactly that.
Okay, go.
So is this your longest outstanding game?
Only by a couple weeks, because Cthulhu Death May Die and Unconscious Mind were within a couple of weeks of each other. But yeah, it is my most outstanding game.
And that one's on a boat too.
That is on a boat somewhere, yeah.
So do they have an estimated time that it's going to fulfill, or no?
They said it should land within August, sometime within the next couple weeks.
Nice.
And then it'll take a few weeks.
To the distribution hubs.
Yeah, exactly. So I'm really looking forward to that one. And there are pet familiar kind of characters to include cats in that.
Oh, nice. So. Are there
Tyler will not play this game.
Little stamps that stick together?
No, that's Darwin's Journey,
color?
And it was a different publisher, so they solved that problem.
It's just so confusing. You just can't keep it straight, right, Tyler? Yeah.
So I got my longest outstanding Kickstarter recently.
Okay.
It is Orbadice, and if I can open it, dice in ball format. So. It is a ball that rolls around.
Okay. Yeah, I've seen those before.
There's some internal components that make it random, and I haven't rolled one.
Do you believe that?
I haven't rolled one 1,000 times to see how it turned out, but it seems variable. It doesn't seem like I get the same number with the same ball every time.
Nice.
But that was my longest outstanding one for a long time. It was 7th Citadel, then Orbadice, and now it's Cthulhu Death May Die.
I think you need to mention one of the coolest things about the Orbadice is you've got the D2 die in there.
There is a D2. It's 50-50, which I don't know how often that comes up, but that's
a coin.
Exactly. It's like flipping a coin.
Yeah. It goes all the way up to D20. I don't know, more of a gimmicky kind of.
Well, I love dice.
Thing. Yeah.
I mean,
yeah.
You can put them in a dice tower, right?
Oh yeah, they fly down the dice tower. I've got a 2-foot tall dice tower over there,
Right.
and they by far make it down
You
faster
raced
than
the other ones.
It's going to cause damage on the way out, you know?
yeah. Well, maybe.
Yeah, man, who knows? Yeah.
So Orbidice, yeah.
Okay, cool. I like it.
Finally, 3 years later or whatever.
I like it. Cool.
But Unconscious Mind, I think it
Nice.
looks beautiful. I'm as excited for that as I was Darwin's Journey to show up. So, and I know you've been waiting a really, really, really long time for it.
It's almost a year. It's not as long as you might expect. Like, I don't think Darwin's Journey was much longer.
Maybe it was because you talked about Unconscious Mind way before it
I did,
actually
yeah.
crowdfunded.
Yeah.
Maybe that's why it feels like it's been longer.
Because I was anticipating the game well before it was actually on Kickstarter. So
Anything else you're excited about, Kevin?
No.
No.
I'm excited to eventually have my shoulder heal. But other than that, that's it.
Yes.
Yes.
I think we're all excited for that because that seems unpleasant and uncomfortable.
Yeah,
looking
I
at
felt
it.
awkward. About
Tyler's been averting his eyes the whole episode because my shoulder is like poking out at an odd angle.
yeah,
It sounds as
weird, like
bump.
bump ball there. or
Yeah,
something.
which is not where it should be. So I'll get that all checked out and fixed up.
All right, cool. Well, this has been a fun episode and good to talk about all the games we've been playing lately. And
Thanks for listening.
Thanks for listening to this episode of the Longest Turn Board Gaming Podcast. If you enjoyed this episode and you want more Longest Turn in your life, please check us out on Instagram. Also, be sure to check us out on Board Game Geek, where you can join our guild, Guild 3947, and check out our blog, where we post all our show notes and occasionally post more detailed reviews. If that's not enough for you, we have a Discord server. If you want to play a game with us on Board Game Arena, join our Board Game Arena group, The Longest Turn. Until next time, thanks for listening.
Tot ziens.
Goodbye.
See you later.
Welcome to the Longest Turn Board Gaming. Nope. Are you okay?
I mocked you and I hurt myself.
Oh, well, maybe I don't feel so
No,
bad.
you shouldn't feel bad. No, not at all. But let's get to some games.
Okay.
What is happening
This
right
stare
now?
is
I don't know.
confusing.
I
feel
think
so-
Tyler just blacked out. I have no idea what happened right
It's been a day.
now. Yeah.
My microphone is drooping.
Oh my god. Oh no.
Tyler and I both looked at each other and we're like, what C word are you thinking of?
What was even the C word I was thinking about? Why wasn't it the L word? Lemon.
I was like, crap? It's got to be crap, right? Like,
Please
it's
let
not
it be
the
crap.
other one. It's
Please
gotta
let
be
it be
crap.
Oh my gosh. I don't know.
We've got a game on Board Game Arena. We've got a game of board.
On.
I'm gonna say the D word here in a second. So
Yeah.
I'll definitely be checking it out. I'm definitely interested in the Ave Maria or
Titus.
Titus. Ave Titus. Ave. Ave. Wow. Oh my gosh. I'm definitely interested in